Hey everybody, welcome to the channel, and today we're going to be talking about the reality of medical preps that most people miss. Move this over here. There we go. Now, most people picture medical emergencies, in disasters as dramatic and, traumatic, gunshots, car crashes, explosions. But the truth is much more ordinary and unfortunately far more dangerous. Now, it's going to present itself differently each time. It's going to be cuts that won't stop bleeding. They're going to be like slow-moving crises that kill, and usually quiet. It's going to usually kill people quietly. Maybe it's a person that's like cutting wood that it turns into a bleeding hand, or maybe it's cooking on a stove that turns into a serious burn. Or maybe you're just like shoveling snow and you fall down and break a bone or a concussion and a possible brain bleed. Then there is the chance that your pills might run out, and that's never going to be a good thing. So I guess what we need to do is start the conversation with a good old-fashioned first aid kit that will get things done right for you. First things first, your first aid kit is not a check in the box on your Amazon preps list. It's a capability. Please skip the fancy kits, packed with dozens of useless trinkets. I either build my own or I buy companies from like Refuge Medical or Kentucky Sustainable Living, shameless plug. Whatever you come up with, you need to make sure that you focus on depth. Now, multiples of things that actually work. Maybe a trauma-capable base kit is going to be a pretty realistic starting point for everybody who's getting into this, But it should be able to handle some basic stuff, and it should be able to handle bleed control. It should be able to handle wound cleaning and protection. It should be able to handle burn treatments, basic splinting, and infection control, believe it or not. Now, what you should be doing is you should be looking for or building a kit that doesn't run out of gauze or tape after one use, because it's going to fail when you need it the most. It's really just that easy. Believe it or not, uncontrolled bleeding is still one of the top preventable causes of death in medical emergencies, especially when ambulances can take up to 2 hours to get to where you need them to be, instead of just minutes like most people think they're just going to show up. Now, every person in your home needs to know how to apply firm, sustained pressure onto a wound. They need to know the location of pressure points. My beard's on my mic. And they need to know how to pack wounds deep and do it right using the knot method. And I think that it's important that if you don't do any of those things, that everybody be able to stop catastrophic bleeds fast, i.e. a tourniquet. Now, the tourniquet is going to be essential for those not trained or non-pros. You should have many around you. Having one is not enough, because it's like anything else. One is none, two is one, whatever rule you want to apply, but you should have one in your home. You should have one in your car. You should have one in your workspace, and if possible, even one on your body. Gear alone does not save lives. Let me say that again. Gear alone does not save lives. Training does. Hands-on practice is going to build things like self-confidence under stress, logical and medically correct decisions, and practice makes perfect for life-saving actions. It's just that simple. You should focus your training and or practice on bleeding control, trauma stabilization, delayed EMS scenarios, improvised care, and decision making in high stress situations. This is going to be one of those few places to train realistically with others who get long-term preparedness, i.e. your family. When pharmacies shut down, and they do from time to time, we had a situation last year where every CVS in the nation shut down, and supply chains collapse. Hopefully that will never happen. Routine illnesses turn deadly incredibly fast. You need to be planning for fevers, dehydration, GI bugs, respiratory infection. Now, how do we do that? Well, it's simple, medications. It's just that easy. And they're all available to us. You can go online and order them. There's all sorts of places, But some of the things that you need to probably keep in mind for these particular situations, like the fevers, dehydration, GI bug, respiratory infections, that kind of thing, is like maybe some oral rehydration salts, like Toriol. They're a solid brand name and they're reputable. Fever reducers, acetaminophen, and believe it or not, ibuprofen. Acetaminophen is primarily the fever reducer. Ibuprofen is an anti-inflammatory, but it does have fever-reducing properties. You can buy that pretty much anywhere. You can go to the $1.25 tree and buy it. Electrolyte supplements. My personal favorite is the Liquid IV. And a reliable thermometer. Do not buy the cheapest one, because just go up like one level. If they offer 4 different kinds, buy the number 2, least expensive. Never buy the cheapest one, because it's almost always guaranteed to fail you when you need it. Okay, let's start with prevention. When it's cold outside, the cold changes everything, guys. Wounds heal slower, shock hits faster, hypothermia sneaks right in, even indoors during long outages. And some of the things that you need to be thinking about are some simple winter medical rules. And I guess some of the easy ones are, basically keep the injured warm and dry, always. Minimize their exposure during treatment. If you can get them in where it's warm to treat them, then do that. Don't wait to put a tourniquet on just to get them warm. And never clean a wound with snow or ice, because there's likely bacteria in it. Once it's in there. And then force the hydration. Even if they're not thirsty, force hydration, like we were talking about the Liquid IV and so on and so forth. The cold isn't just isn't uncomfortable. It's a serious medical issue that we have to pay attention to, specifically during this time of year. Short outages will test your supplies every single time. Long emergencies expose planning gaps or holes in your preps. You need to have a kit that goes beyond your kit, is what I'm saying. Have redundant meds, especially for chronic conditions. Have a paper copy of med lists and dosages. Maintain a hard copy medical reference, especially for medicines you're not familiar with. Jace makes a good one. I should be making a video on that next week. Or you could just get your desktop, Physician's PDR, the Physician's Desktop Physician's Desktop Reference. Great tools to have, very affordable. But the key thing is that these principles, actually I forgot one. Train other people, because mutual aid with trained people turns into a force multiplier. If you have to do everything yourself, you may be successful, but if you've got a couple other people helping you out, you're almost guaranteed to be successful. And so, with these principles, they're kind of the core to a long-term preparedness, and they should not be ignored. Lastly, don't wait for an emergency to learn these hard lessons. It's the worst time to absolutely do it. You need to be building capability now. Now, I'm going to list some links down in the resources or in the description. If you want to check them out, please do go right ahead. If not, oh well. Thanks for watching. Thumbs up. Make sure you're subscribed. And as usual,
that was easy.